Today we'll be talking about 10 agribusinesses that never fail in Africa. I've talked a lot about the percentages of businesses that fail globally, but now there are certain businesses that if you inject your money in, you are sure to have a good return on investment, and you are thereby sure to make it last for a long time, and if well handled, for a lifetime. Agribusinesses, therefore, are one of those businesses, and this is simple. We humans need to eat in order to survive, right? So if you are that smart go-getter out there, these businesses I am going to be talking to you about are businesses that you definitely need to choose from and invest. And always remember that Africa has the fastest growing population in the world and also the fastest growing urbanization rate. So having these things at the back of your mind, you would definitely love to invest your money in Africa. That's why you're going to discover that a lot of people are rushing to invest in Africa. And that's why I am certain that there is another scramble for Africa. So if you're in Africa, you can tap directly from these untapped opportunities in Africa. And agribusinesses is one of the surest ways to invest your money. Now, without even thinking twice, the first agribusiness I would advise you invest your money in Africa is the cocoa business. If you don't know, cocoa prices have actually skyrocketed. Cocoa prices have increased by a whopping 300% as I am talking to you right now. So averagely right now, a kilo of cocoa has left from a little bit above $3 to almost $10. What an increase. And if you don't know, this is thanks to the Ghanaian president and Ivorian president who decided 2 years ago to come up with something that would help the cocoa farmers. So they came up with this coalition that was aimed at bringing all the cocoa producers nations in Africa together in order to review the cocoa prices and maximize their profit. So they were later on joined by Cameroon and Nigeria. And if you're interested, I covered it detailedly in this video that you might want to watch in order to know more about this. So thanks to that coalition, cocoa prices drastically rose to basically 300%. So if you are in any of these nations, that is Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Cameroon, and Ghana, you definitely need to inject your money in the cocoa sector. And you know, on the channel, we always encourage Africans to embark on production. That is the transformation of our primary material to finished products. And cocoa is one of those things that if you've got the funds, you could actually extend your business to transform the cocoa to finished products like chocolate bars, chocolate spread, and even cocoa powder. Why not? Because a lot of people use cocoa powder nowadays for various reasons. And there is equally a video on the channel where I exposed to you those machines that you could actually buy and transform primary products in Africa to finished products. And on there is the chocolate processing machine and many more. So you might like to check it as well. Now, the next agribusiness that you could invest your money in that will never fail is the poultry farming. Now, poultry is one of the biggest when it comes to agri-businesses in Africa and even globally, right? Everyone loves poultry products. Who doesn't love chicken? I guess you do, right? So aside from vegetarians, a lot of people love chicken and consume it at least on a weekly basis. As of me, I could eat chicken any day, anytime, alright? Especially for the fact that it is white flesh. And you know all the advantages the white flesh has over red flesh, right? So a lot of people would rather go for chicken nowadays than beef. Chicken is hands down the most consumed meat worldwide, alright? No arguments on that. So if you invest your money in poultry farming, you are sure to make a lot of money. That is from the eggs to the meat, everything is consumed hugely. Now, when we talk of poultry, we are thereby referring to things like broilers, layers, and even what we call in Africa pantaloon, right? Which is the more resistant species when it comes to poultry. And it is very lucrative as well. For you, don't necessarily need to spend as much as you spend on broilers or layers, but you actually make a lot of money from it. Though the breeding is some sort of delicate, but if you do it right, you will definitely make a lot of money, because those who've got the money would rather go for it than the broilers. So poultry products are so consumed. That's why you would notice that a lot of people go to produce 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 capacity when it comes to poultry, because the market is there, all right? If you do it right, you can make a lot of money in that industry. So next on our list is fish farming. Just for the fact that 70% of the fish in water has been consumed already by mankind is enough to make you know how much the fish industry is lucrative. If up to 70% of the fish in the sea has been consumed, there is a huge gap to fill. So you can embark on fish farming either by creating a fish pond or by using fish batches or basins to rear your fish. And you know fish is white flesh, right? People love a lot of white flesh or white meat nowadays, and the demand for fish oil also on the market is high. And this is something you could even do from the comfort of your home, alright? There are a lot of people who are rearing fish in their backyards, in their own homes, and making a lot of money when the harvest season comes. You just need to let people know that you produce fish, and when it is ready, you notify them, and that's how you're going to be making sales. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about fish farming, we also covered it detailedly in this video that I would advise you watch. Next on, we've got honey farming. Honey is so lucrative nowadays, and the demand is high. People use honey for a lot of things. You know, nowadays in Africa, there are a lot of skincare brands that are coming up and that produce organic skincare products. So they need honey for their skincare products, alright? Unknown to a lot, the skincare industry is one of those industries that use a lot of honey, and honestly, they buy. I have this friend who sells brown honey and makes a lot of money from his skincare clients because they are the highest buyers of brown honey. And honey is so profitable now because it is very easy to produce. So you don't need to spend a lot of money, and at the level of the maintenance, you don't need to strain a lot. Once your beehives are set properly and all the conditions respected, you just wait for your harvest season and start harvesting, and the profit is so high, alright? People use honey for a lot of things now, from skincare to local consumption. Honey is highly needed. A lot of people now would go for honey rather than sugar. And I know by now you could be raising your eyebrows that no, honey has got smell, oh, you don't love maybe the color and everything. Don't you worry, if I've got you covered. Do you know that there is actually white honey? And this is something that I noticed from my video where I covered white honey. I noticed that a lot of people got to hear or see white honey for the first time in that video. Now, if you didn't know, there is actually white honey. It is called raw white honey, and as you heard, white. It is immaculate white in color, and it is actually a crystallized form of honey. And the more it stays, the more it crystallizes. So this honey is actually a good substitute for those who don't love brown honey because it's got no smell. This honey has got no smell and has got no fat at all. So it is perfect to consume in whichever thing you are consuming. So if you are that person who is not comfortable drinking anything that is not sweet, if you've got some medication that is difficult for you to swallow because it isn't sweet, this honey is appropriate for it. Alright, but aside from being a good replacement for sugar, having no fat, no smell, it's got a lot of medicinal values. So if you want to know more on this honey and all its medicinal benefits, check out this video of mine where I detailedly covered white honey and I gave you everything you need to know on white honey. And if you don't know, I actually supply white honey. This is something that is produced in just 2 African countries, and my country is one of those. So I supply this honey worldwide. So if you're interested, you know what to do. You can always contact us at africatodayinfo@gmail.com. You contact me there and make sure to title it White Honey Deal or White Honey Business so that we could easily identify you among the numerous emails that we receive daily. So like I said, honey business is definitely something that you would love to invest your money in. But like I said, it isn't expensive to start, and also it is labor extensive. And back you, everything about the honey production is important, be it the honey, the beeswax, and the honey bee itself. The honey bee is actually rented by some people to pollinate their plants or flowers. So this is also another use of the honeybee that people don't know. But then it isn't a point of interest here. So if you wanted to invest your money in something that is easy to manage and not too expensive, honey production is that business that you definitely need to invest your money in. Next on our list, we've got the pig farming. Yes, pig production is very lucrative, and I am going to be telling you why. You know, unlike before, that people didn't really consume pork because of maybe its smell and maybe the uninteresting way or the traditional way that it was cooked. Now, a lot of people get to appreciate and love pork. This is because a lot of new recipes have come up. People make pork in many different ways that is so tasty and attractive and even aesthetically pleasing. Now, I know another reason why some people used to not like pork is because of the way it used to be reared in Africa, alright? People just throw pigs at their backyard and those pigs just move around eating whatever, and you find them very dirty and nasty, therefore making it unappealing for consumption. But now, people take their time and rear their pigs in comfortable, clean, airy, and well catered for environments. And this makes the quality of the pig and the quality of the pork very good. Therefore, reduces the smell that the pork used to have back in the days and making it very suitable and convenient for consumption. Now, coupled up with the new recipes and the new aromas, new spicing and everything that people get to learn from the internet and from other parts of the world, people consume a lot of pork now in Africa, and I am not an exception. I consume a lot of pork, and a lot of people too. A lot of people now would go for pork than beef, alright? So if you were wondering which part in the agribusiness sector that you wanted to invest in, pig farming is definitely the one I would advise you to also go for. So we've got the poultry and the pig farming. They are so lucrative. Pig is actually very, very lucrative. An average price for a kilogram of pork is $7 to $8, and people buy. Whenever I go to our local market, I always notice that pork is one of those meats on the market that will be exhausted before beef. Most times, the pork sellers are always going to run out of meat way before the beef sellers. Now, next on is goat farming. Yes, unlike before also, nowadays people love goats. A lot of goat is consumed. As also like pig, there are a lot of ways to cook goat meat nowadays. People have a variety of goat pepper soups and roasted goat meat that people love a lot. I've noticed that most times when you go out for some good time or some refreshment, goat meat is that one meat that is so expensive, but at the same time, a lot of people go for it. During events, a lot of people love to consume goat pepper soup, and it is very expensive, and it gives some sort of luxury. When you've got an event or a celebration or whatever, when your guests notice that there is goat meat, they actually enjoy and appreciate your reception more. And a lot of people, if not everyone, is going to make sure they have a taste of that goat meat. So goat meat has slowly been paving its way into the luxury commodity sphere. And another reason now why goat meat is also very expensive and lucrative is the fact that in Africa, we practice what we call traditional marriages or bride price ceremonies. And in most of those ceremonies, goat is usually one of the items that must be present. So goat meat is something that is so treasured and valued by Africans. And the thing is, very few people rear goats. In most cities, goats are so difficult to find that whatever the price that the owner is selling for, people buy because the need is high and unfortunately the supply is very little. So this is some business that you might want to invest your money in and just maybe get trained on how to rear it, because it is very technical. And if you didn't know, my co-host on the channel is versed with farming, for he's been trained in the veterinary sector and has been practicing for over 15 years. So if you would love to know more on things like goat farming, poultry, and all the like, please indicate in the comment section, and he is definitely going to be covering those topics detailing for you. So if you're interested in goat farming already, you could just indicate in the comment section goat farming. If you're interested in poultry, you could just indicate poultry, and he is going to be doing that definitely. And that leads us to the next, which is dairy farming. Now, as concerns dairy farming, you know how much people consume dairy products. That is from the milk to the butter to the cheese and yogurt. People consume dairy products on a daily basis and in huge quantities. For milk, for instance, we know it is a good source of calcium, and a lot of people give milk to their children till adolescence. Now, you know nowadays more and more women, for various reasons, don't breastfeed, and they will go for cow milk as substitute to breast milk for their babies. And most times this is due to the fact that a lot of women now in Africa are of the working class. They don't stay back at home like back in the days to cater for babies. They've got either a 9-to-5 job somewhere, or they've got a business they are taking care. So they will generally seek the assistance of cow milk for their babies, and this is some industry that is so lucrative. So if you could actually invest your money in the production of baby milk, you are going to be making a lot of money in Africa. Alright, here in Cameroon, for instance, I keep seeing new brands popping up as the days go by, and all of them to sell. You know, anything that has to do with babies, sell. Is it milk, diapers, wipes, you name it. Everything that has to do with babies, sell in Africa, because Africans make a lot of babies. Talking to you here is a mom of 5, right? We love babies that much, yeah. And even while those children grow, they go to school, alright? In kids' lunch boxes, you are definitely going to be finding some cheese, at times some butter in bread, and at times yogurt. So those things sell a lot. They are either used as snacks during the day or whatever, during picnics, during events, parties at resorts, or in kids' lunch boxes. So dairy products, whichever form, sell very well in Africa. And you know, like I said, most women in Africa now do work, and the kids have got to go to school, and they don't have maybe the time to be making those little meals for lunch boxes. It is much more easier for them to just spread some butter, some cheese, yogurt, and all the like in lunch boxes and give to their kids to go to school with. I am not in any way in support of such lifestyle, but that is the reality, alright? And you know, as a business person, you need to think objectively. You want to make money in the agribusiness sector, dairy farming is definitely something to consider. So here we are talking about the rearing of things like goat, sheep, cow for dairy products. Now, next on our list, we will be talking of cassava. I've talked about cassava on this channel, and I've even covered it detailedly in a video that you might want to watch, alright? Now, cassava is something that is so lucrative right now in Africa, for the demand is high for various reasons. It is used now as a good replacement for wheat, right? Some people have started making bread with cassava flour, and the demand keeps increasing. Now, there is a snack in Africa called gari, if you don't know, and the demand also is very high and keeps increasing. There are other options like in Cameroon, where we also consume what we call water fufu, which is made from cassava, and a lot of things. Now, as if it was not enough, the Chinese have actually invaded Africa and are tapping most of the cassava. So the Africans themselves have got limited supply of cassava, and they are struggling to keep up with the demand. So cassava production is something that you should definitely consider if you've got the money to invest. And one good thing with the production of cassava is the fact that it is very labor expensive. It doesn't need a lot of maintenance, alright? Once you invest in the planting, you don't really have a lot of work to do, and you can start harvesting your cassava in 7 to 12 months time, depending on the species. Now, last but not the least, we'll be talking about vegetable farming. Yes, you know how much vegetables are needed nowadays. A lot of people want to keep fit. A lot of people are taking good care of their health. And you know what is best to eat than vegetables? It is actually the best when it comes to our health. And we are all aware of that. We've got fruits, we've got vegetables that if you eat a minimum of 5 per day, you are sure to maintain a good health score. Now, when we talk of vegetable farming here, we are talking of doing it in large capacities, alright? If you've got the money, you could import tractors, tillers, whatever you're going to be needing for the production of your vegetables and make it in large scale. Remember, vegetables are perishable, right? So what I always advise is to consider value addition. That is, consider transforming your product from its primary level to another finished product that is much more resistant and durable. So I would advise you make good use of a dehydrator machine. There are dehydration machines of various capacities. So if you've got the money, you embark on vegetable production in a large scale and import dehydration machines of huge capacities so that you could dehydrate some of your vegetables and sell them in the dry form. That is a new form of vegetable consumption that people love nowadays because it could enable them to store their vegetables or fruits for a longer period of time. Now, there is this video where I talked about the dehydration machine in detail alongside other interesting production machines that might catch your interest. So if you're interested as well, you might want to watch this video. That said, I would love to thank our members who subscribe to the Go Getter Academy and are helping the channel grow. So if you want to be part of the Go Getter community, you know what to do. Check our About page. You are definitely going to be finding the link to our membership there. You just follow the instructions and we will take care of the rest. That said, thanks for watching this video and I'll see you on the next one.
Turn and walk away.